Sarah Jo here with a tutorial on how to sew double fold knit binding for lightweight binding fabric. The supplies you'll need include your main fabric. I'm doing this tutorial on a rectangular piece of fabric, but this binding method works great on necklines and armholes. You'll need your binding. I'm using a rib knit, but this method works best on lighter weight bindings. Thread matching your binding color is recommended, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm using a contrasting color so you can see better. You'll also need pins, an ironing board, and an iron. To begin, fold the binding in half and press. Open the binding and fold the raw edges toward the crease and press again. I do this one side at a time. To finish, press the binding in half again so the raw edges are encased. Since the fabric is the same on both sides, I labeled them right and wrong. To attach the binding, start by unfolding the binding. Match one of the raw edges along the raw edge of the fabric you're attaching it to. The right side of the binding will be against the wrong side of the fabric. Sew along the crease closest to the raw edge. You can use pins if it makes you more comfortable. Since I'm sewing with knits, I also suggest using either a zigzag stitch or a lightning bolt stitch. You can see the line of stitching is visible on the right side of the fabric. Refold the edge of the binding furthest from the line of stitching you just did. Next, fold the binding along the seam. You'll want to flip the fabric so the right side is facing up. Fold the binding over the raw edge and pin it in place. When pinning, I prefer to place my pins parallel to the binding. I find it holds it in place better. All the raw edges should now be encased. Sew along the pinned edge, staying as close to the fold as possible. The right side of the fabric should be up while sewing. For this step, I'm using a lightning bolt stitch since it's thinner and looks more like a top stitch, but it still has stretch. A zigzag stitch also works great. You can see my stitching line, but if you're using a thread color similar to the binding fabric color, it will barely be noticeable. And that's how you sew a double fold binding. Happy sewing!